Hey, you guys, thank you for coming in. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you that are listening in on my podcast, Nonprofit Nuggets with Jennifer Yarbrough, thank you so much for chiming in. For those of you that are listening in on my YouTube, thank you also for chiming in. Please like, please share, please follow. And comment. Listen, I enjoy your comments. I enjoy the engagement. And my job here is to make sure that this information is as clear as possible. So today I want to talk about the difference between what is a nonprofit, what is a program, and what is the paperwork. All right. I want to explain what is the nonprofit, what is the program, and what is the paperwork. I want to explain this because people are deeply confused about the nonprofit space. All right, about the nonprofit space. People think that filing the paperwork equals starting the nonprofit. People think that filing the paperwork means you started a nonprofit. They also think that doing the work of, helping people, um, the work of empowering people equals or is the same as running a nonprofit, right? Or having a program. Having a program is the same as having an organization. And again, there's so much confusion about these three distinct things, okay? These three distinct things: the paperwork, the program, and the nonprofit. None of what I've said to you is true, right? The paperwork, the filing of the paperwork is not starting a nonprofit. Doing the work of ministry, or doing the work of helping people, or doing the work of giving away backpacks, or giving the work of, providing housing, that's not running a nonprofit. Having a program is not having an organization. None of those things are true, right? So today I want to explain what a nonprofit actually is, what a program actually is, what structure of the organization actually is, and why donors and funders give money, and why passion alone does not equal the leadership, right? The person who's running the nonprofit or the person who started the nonprofit. That passion alone does not equal leadership, leading the nonprofit organization, running or operating the nonprofit organization. And I'm going to explain this so simply that even a 7-year-old can understand it. Okay? Because if a child can understand it, then adults can stop getting it wrong. Okay? And again, this is no shade. I know that we don't know what we don't know, particularly for those of you that decided to start a nonprofit and you've never started a nonprofit. You never run a nonprofit. You never led a nonprofit. You've never worked in a nonprofit, right? You don't know what you don't know. It is my pleasure to have the opportunity to explain it. Okay. Let's start with a very simple story. All right. Let's start with a very simple story. Imagine a lemon stand. Imagine a lemonade stand. Okay. You have a lemonade stand, and a child is selling lemonade, right? So you've got a lemonade stand and a child selling lemonade has, right? It has lemonade, has a table, has a sign, has cups, and a pitcher. Okay. So a child is selling lemonade. In order for that child to sell the lemonade, the child must have lemonade, a table, a sign, cups, and a pitcher. Okay. Now, the lemonade is the program. That lemonade is the program. Okay. Now imagine a lemonade business, a business. The business has rules. The business has money tracking. The business has supplies. The business has pricing. The business has planning. The business has someone managing it. The business has a plan for tomorrow. The business has a way to restock. The business has a way to keep going. The business is the organization, right? So, for those of you that say, Jen, I want to start a nonprofit and this is my program. What's the program? The program is selling the lemonade, right? That's the lemonade with the table, the sign, the cups, the pitcher. That's the program. But the business, i.e., the organization that you started, the lemonade business has the rules, has the money tracking, has the supplies, has the pricing, has the planning, has the adults or the people running the business, has the bank account, has the finances, has the plan for tomorrow, has a way to restock, and has a way to keep going. That is the business. That's the organization. And the piece of paper that says you're allowed to sell lemonade, the paperwork that says you're allowed to sell lemonade is just paperwork. Are you hearing what I'm saying? The lemonade, which is the program, is not the business or the organization. And the permit or the paperwork to sell the lemonade is not the business either. So, what is a nonprofit? A nonprofit is an organization. An organization is a system that exists to manage the money, make decisions, employ and manage people, track results, report to others, stay accountable, right? Do the budgeting and keep working even when one person or the team is being built. That's the organization. An organization is a system, a structure that manages the money, that makes a decision, that employs or manages the people, that tracks results, that reports others, that stays accountable. A nonprofit organization is the container that holds the work. It's the body, it's the skeleton, it's the engine, it's the system. Without it, the work cannot last. Without the organization, the work cannot last, right? So a nonprofit organization includes leadership, it includes governance, it includes finances, it includes policies, it includes systems, accountability, and sustainability. That's what the nonprofit organization is. It includes leadership, governance, finances, policies, systems, accountability, and sustainability. This is why filing the paperwork does not mean you started a nonprofit. You created a legal shell, not a functioning organization. Am I making sense? Now, then, what is the program? A program is the work that you do. I'm going to say that again. What is a program then, Jen? The program is the work that you do. It is the thing that you do. It is the thing that the activity that you do. Example, feeding people. That's the work, the thing that you do. Tutoring children. That's the work. That's what you do. mentoring youth, housing families, providing counseling, running workshops, right? Programs serve the people. Hear me now. The nonprofit program serves the people. The program creates the outcome. The program delivers the services. But the program does not manage the money. The program does not report to funders. The program does not create budgets. The program does not govern the organization. The program does not track compliance. The program does not sustain itself. That's done by the organization. So the program needs the organization to survive. You can start a nonprofit program without starting a nonprofit. You can start a program without starting a nonprofit. You can start a program without starting a nonprofit. You cannot sustain a program without an organization. I'm going to say that again. The program needs the organization to survive. You can start a program without a nonprofit. And many of you have done that, right? You went out, did the paperwork, and started a program. And that's why you're funding it by yourself. That's why you don't have donors. That's why you don't have funders. That's why you don't have supporters. That's why you are paying for everything out of your own pocket. Why? Because the program cannot sustain itself, or the program cannot be sustained without the organization. Now, you may have filed the paperwork, but you didn't set up the organization. You didn't set up the structure of the organization. Now, what is structure? What is structure? Structure is how the organization supports the program. Structure is how the organization supports the program. Structure includes financial systems, board roles, leadership roles, decision-making processes, accountability, reporting, planning, evaluation. That's structure, right? Structure answers the questions like, who is responsible? Who makes the decision? Who manages the money? Who reports results? Who is accountable? What happens next? Structure is how the work happens consistently. Without structure, the work depends on one person. And that's where many of you are doing everything by yourself. Why? Because you started the nonprofit with no structure. You started the nonprofit with no plan. You started your nonprofit with no knowledge or clarity on how to sustain it, how to grow it, how to financially manage it, how to generate the resources. You started the nonprofit and it depends on one person. And what happens? That means burnout happens. That means money is mismanaged. That means donors leave. That means funders say no. Why? Because the donor, the funder, the supporter, they're supporting the organization. They're supporting the organization's ability, capacity to sustain itself. They're not supporting your program. They're not supporting what you want to do. They're not supporting your passion. I often ask myself, Jen, why do people think that the paperwork equals the nonprofit? And I think that this is why the confusion exists. I think this is why the confusion exists. The paperwork is visible. The paperwork is concrete. The paperwork is immediate, right? The paperwork is checkbox oriented. However, structure is operational. Structure is ongoing. Structure is learned through experience. People stop at the paperwork because the paperwork feels like progress. The paperwork feels official. That the paperwork, once complete, feels complete, right? I did the paperwork, Jen. I'm official. I'm a 501c3. You feel like you are progressing, that you're doing something. I think that's why most people rush to do the paperwork because you want to feel official. You want to feel like you completed something. But that's not true. It's like the paperwork is a birth certificate. The paperwork is nothing but a birth certificate. Structure is the ability to live, to grow, to sustain itself, right? I think that because there's a lot of misunderstanding about passion and the program and the nonprofit and what's taxed and what's tax deductible, that people confuse why do donors and funders give the money? Are they giving the money because you have a program? Are they giving the money because you're a 501c3? Are they giving the money because you want to help people? Are they giving the money because you completed the paperwork? I think this is the most important part of that clarification. Donors and funders do not give money to programs. I'm going to say that again. Donors and funders do not give money to programs. They give the money to organizations that run the program. Why? Because the organization manages the money. The organization ensures accountability. The organization reports results. The organization protects the investment. The organization creates sustainability. Funders are not paying for good intentions. They're not giving you their money because you have a good intention to help people, to empower people, to equip people. That's not what they're paying for. They are investing in capacity and credibility. They've got to trust your organization before they will entrust you with the money, right? The person that said, start a nonprofit, you can get a grant. Well, the grant funder is not giving you the money because you started or filed the paperwork. They're giving you the money after they believe that they can trust you with the money. That's what the grant application is. The grant application says, tell me how and why I should trust you with this money. It's not, tell me what you want to do. Tell me what your passion is. Tell me what you're interested in doing. No, they're saying, can I trust your organization with the money? They ask, can this organization manage funds? Can it deliver consistently? Can it report outcomes? Can it survive leadership changes? If the answer to that is no, they don't give. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? What is the role of the executive director? You who started the nonprofit, what's your role? And I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding about this too, because a lot of you are spending your time running the program, but the program is not what you started. You started a nonprofit organization. So the role of the executive director, the role of the founder who says, I just want to help people, is thinking like a program volunteer. I'm going to say that again. The founder that says, I just want to help people, Jen. I just want to empower people. I just want to see people win. I just want their lives to be better. I just want them to get it. I want to give them the service. I don't want them to have to pay for it. I just want to give away the backpacks. I want to improve their lives. I want to help them. You're thinking like a program volunteer. An executive director or a founder of a nonprofit must think like a system builder, a strategist, a steward of resources, a leader of people, a manager of money, a reporter of outcomes. That's the role. The role of the executive director is not to do all the work. The role of the executive director is to build an organization that allows the work to happen. Passion will start the program, but your leadership of the organization is what will bring in the money to sustain the program. I'm going to say that again for the people in the bushes. Passion will start the program, but your knowledge, your clarity, your capacity, your experience of running the organization, of leading the organization, is what leads to sustainability. That's not program. Listen, if you take nothing else from this, I want you to take this. Filing the paperwork is not starting a nonprofit. Running a program is not running an organization. Passion is not structure. Helping is not leading. A nonprofit is an organization. It's the administration. The nonprofit is the organization, the administration. It does the bookkeeping. It does the marketing. The organization does the fundraising. It does the relationship building. It does the leadership hiring. It does the money management. It does the budgeting. That's the organization. The program is the work of what the organization does, right? The work is the program. The nonprofit is the organization. The program is the work of what you do. Structure is how the organization sustains the work, right? The nonprofit is an organization. A program is the work. Structure is how the organization sustains the work. And donors don't fund passion. They fund organizations that they trust. They trust with what? They trust with your knowledge and your capacity to manage the money. If you're realizing that you've been trying to build a nonprofit without understanding this, that's okay. But now you know. And if you want to keep building the organization, not just a program, then I want to talk to you. I want to help you. I want to support you. I want to make sure that you have the clarity about the structure. And why is that important? Because again, many of you have started a nonprofit, but you've never worked in a nonprofit. You've never led a nonprofit. You've never structured a nonprofit. You've never started a nonprofit before. And many of you are interested in doing the program, but you can have the program without the nonprofit. You're just volunteering. You're volunteering and you're paying for everything out of your pocket, right? So you started the program without the organization. However, the organization is what sustains the program. The organization is what raises the funds, build the relationships, managing the funding, does the budgeting, does the outreach. draws the attention to the value of the work. That's the organization. You can have a program without an organization. That's volunteering. And many of you have started a program where you are volunteering. You're paying for everything out of your pocket. You're doing everything by yourself. And you're wondering why. How come I can't get donors? How come I can't get funding? How come I can't get board members? How come I can't get people to help me run this program? Because they don't run the program. They're giving to the organization. If you say, Jen, I need help, I need you to look at what we've built. I need you to tell me what I'm missing. I need to figure out why I'm stuck. Where within my organization did I not set it up properly? If you need help with how do I structure my nonprofit so that I can actually get the funding at last. Funding is my biggest challenge, Jen. No, funding is not your biggest challenge because you are structured. Your nonprofit organization is structured, is intended to be structured, to generate the revenue needed to operate the program, to accomplish the mission. If you're not structured to generate the revenue so that you can pay the expenses of the operations and the program, then you're going to be paying for everything out of your own pocket. Your mission deserves more than paperwork. It deserves an organization that can carry the mission. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Listen, if you are ready to say, Jen, I've been volunteering long enough. I've been volunteering long enough. I did. I filled out the paperwork and I thought I had to accomplish something. I put people on my board and I didn't know what their role and responsibility was, but I felt like I had completed the paperwork and that made me feel like I had done something. I began to do the work of the program, Jen, because that really is my heart and I really want to help people. And I felt like I was progressing. I felt like I was moving the needle, that I was being active and being involved. But what I didn't do was set up the organization. I didn't structure the organization to raise money, Jan. I didn't structure the organization to build and to scale with the resources needed so that I'm not doing everything by myself. I didn't set up the organization to connect with the community, to build relationships, to generate I didn't set that up. And that's why funding is your biggest issue. That's why you're having a hard time getting board members. That's why you're doing everything by yourself. Because you are interpreting that running the program is the same as running the organization. And that's not true. If and when you are ready to say, Jen, I started this nonprofit and I didn't have any experience. I've never worked in a nonprofit. I've never structured a nonprofit. I've never run a nonprofit. I've never fundraised for a nonprofit. I thought that once I did the paperwork, I could get a grant. I just thought that there would be a startup grant and that they would give me money. People don't give to the nonprofit because you have a program. People give their money to the organization because they trust your organization. They trust your organization, not your passion and not what you want to do. Again, your mission deserves more than paperwork. Your mission deserves more than your passion. Your mission deserves an organization that can carry it, an organization that is structured to sustain it. Your mission deserves you as the founder, you as the CEO, you as the leader. Your mission deserves you having the knowledge and the understanding of how to sustain the work. Because without it, you will start it and then get stuck. You will start it and fund all of it by yourself. You will start it, and if you walk away, the organization stops. You will start it and get burnt out. You will start it and not be able to really achieve the level of impact that you want to achieve. And I don't want that to happen for you. If you are ready, I invite you to get on my calendar. I invite you to get on my calendar and let's have a conversation. All right. I have lots of ways, lots of tools for every level of affordability. If you are serious about your organization, not just starting, but understanding how do you grow it and how do you sustain it, I invite you to get on my calendar. Go to www.timewithjen, that's Jen, timewithjen.com, and let's have a conversation. All right. In 2026, I would love to be able to help you as I have helped thousands. Not just start your nonprofit, but give you the clarity, the systems, the structures, and the tools to sustain it. I am Jennifer. I'm your nonprofit expert. I look forward to working with you, and I'll see you in the next live.